This mass shooting in modern American history has now turned into a bitter legal battle. MGM Resorts has filed not one, but at least 2 lawsuits against more than 1,000 victims of the Las Vegas shooting in an effort to shield the company from being responsible for the shooting at all. The victims, as you might expect, are angry, they're hurt, they're disgusted, and they're speaking out.
They put me in a coma. They had to cut me all open to go in and repair my lungs and liver. And there's a bullet lodged on my spine right at T9. And I'm a paraplegic now.
Inside the red, the other way.
Lasting consequences. Not only did these people lose loved ones and go through unspeakable tragedy, as I said, this shooting changed their lives forever. I want to bring in one of the survivors, Brian Claypool, to talk about the guilt he felt just for living when so many others died. This was just 2 days after the shooting.
I'm going through some guilt now. Did I help enough people? Because everybody was screaming and yelling. They didn't know what to do. We didn't know where the shooter was. We thought he was going to jump over the fence. We thought there could have been 1, 2, 3 shooters.
So Brian is here with me now, and I don't think people understand that there are lasting effects, not just physical, right, to these kinds of tragedies.
Yeah, Carol, looking in that video, I mean, it gets me a bit emotional now. I mean, since hearing about these lawsuits, it's affected me as a victim of the shooting immensely. I'm reliving the entire shooting. I feel like I'm re-traumatized. I've had nightmares again last week. I've got stomach problems even today, coping with this again. And for all the reasons that you just saw, you relive everything. Why did I live? Why did others die? Did I do enough? That is the most powerful thing that'll never go away from me. I feel for the rest of my life like I was a coward. I didn't do enough.
Oh, Brian, no. 2,500 victims are suing MGM, Mandalay Bay. MGM is retaliating and suing them back. And according to the New York Times, there are at least 9 lawsuits filed by MGM against victims of the Las Vegas shooting. You're a lawyer. I mean, you're cynical, right? So, well, but when you hear about MGM suing victims, what goes through your mind?
Well, I'm not only a victim, but I represent over 75 victims in this lawsuit. So we're going to war with the MGM. But when I heard the announcement of the lawsuits, Carol, my visceral reaction was that MGM is intoxicated by a drug, and that drug is money. It's about money. It's like an IV in their vein. It started from before the shooting. When I was at the Mandalay Bay, the days leading up to the shooting, I didn't see any security. They didn't spend any money on legitimate security. They paid security guards less to not have guns. They didn't spend money to have video surveillance in the hallways. They didn't spend money on the glass windows to trigger a sensor when somebody breaches the window. And now, fast forward to today, and what are they trying to do? Save money by preempting all the victims suing them. It's spineless.
So MGM says that this was a terrorist attack, and they're protected under Homeland Security because they did secure the venue using a company approved by the government, and that protects them from all of these lawsuits that are being filed by victims.
Yeah, well, MGM has one colossal problem with that argument. This security company that they hired, CSC, that was rubber stamped by the Department of Homeland Security, was retained for security purposes around the venue and in the venue, not inside the Mandalay Bay. The security inside the Mandalay Bay was internal staff of the Mandalay Bay, not this security company. So our argument's going to be that this Safety Act, that they call it, promulgated in 2002, doesn't apply because the cause of the shooting was failed security within the casino, not on the venue grounds.
Interesting. If somehow MGM prevails, this would send kind of a chilling effect. And wouldn't it set a precedent for other attacks like this to prevent other victims from suing for improper security?
Yeah, Carol, this would set a horrendous precedent. And what it will do is it will lead other businesses to simply find security companies that are approved by the Department of Homeland Security. And then guess what? just wash their hands and forget about it. But one other key point I wanted to make is even if a judge comes in and says, yes, this Safety Act does apply, the MGM still has to prove that the security that was in place was effective and had utility. Those are the exact words in the law. Effective and had utility. We're still going to argue that, hello, 58 people were killed, thousands injured, and thousands like myself with PTSD. So it was not effective security. So they still have a hurdle with that argument, too.
Okay, we'll continue to follow this. Brian Claypool, thank you so much.
And thanks for caring.
Stay
Carol.
well.
Thank you.
Honestly. Thank you for being here.